guys, Eoin Lynch here. I hope you're doing well. Trying to give you a small little panoramic of my mother's back garden. I'm in Dublin at the moment. I live in London regularly, but I'm in Dublin where the weather is lovely at the moment this summer. And I'm just going to be reading from today's passage, which is taken from John 6, and it's 1 to 21, feeding of the 5,000. So here we go. After this, Jesus went away to the other side of the Sea of Galilee, which is the Sea of Tiberias, and a large crowd was following him because they saw the signs that he was doing on the sick. Jesus went up on the mountain, and there he sat down with his disciples. Now the Passover, the feast of the Jews, was at hand. Lifting up his eyes then, and seeing that a large crowd was coming toward him, Jesus said to Philip, "Where are we to buy bread so that these people may eat?" He said this to test him, for he himself knew what he would do. Philip answered him, 200 denarii would not buy enough bread for each of them to get a little. One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said to him, "There is a boy here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 fish, but what are they for so many?" Jesus said, "Have the people sit down." Now there was much grass in the place, so the men sat down, about 5,000 in number. Jesus then took the loaves, and when he had given thanks, he distributed them to those who were seated. So also the fish, as much as they wanted. And when they had eaten their fill, he told his disciples, "Gather up the leftover fragments, that nothing may be lost." So they gathered them up and filled 12 baskets with fragments from the 5 barley loaves left by those who had eaten. When the people saw the sign that he had done, they said, "This is indeed the prophet who is to come into the world." Perceiving then that they were about to come and take him by force to make him king, Jesus withdrew again to the mountain by himself. When evening came, Jesus' disciples went down to the sea, got into a boat and started across the sea to Capernaum. It was now dark, and Jesus had not yet come to them. The sea became rough because of strong wind that was blowing. When they had rowed about 3 or 4 miles, they saw Jesus walking on the sea and coming near the boat. And they were frightened, but he said to them, "It is I, do not be afraid." And they were glad to take him into the boat, and immediately the boat was at the land to which they were going. So there's the passage. A quick run through. I hope it wasn't too quick for you to be able to understand and take in, but I'd encourage you to read it over again. Nice famous passage. Jesus feeds the 5,000. And I just have a few small things to say in it, and then a little personal story relating to the passage as well. The first thing I want to see here is the 5 loaves and 2 fish are given to Jesus. We should do the same with whatever it is that we have. This boy gave a little, and Jesus was able to give a lot with a little. That's the regular answer we're used to hearing in this passage, but it's very, very important and something we need to hear again and again. That when we give to the Lord, he does multiply. And sometimes we may not have faith that we have gifts that he can actually multiply, or the gifts that we have may not be useful to him. But we have to have faith in that he can use them and multiply them for his purpose. That's the first thing to mention. The other thing I want to say is that can we be a little bit perhaps flippant with our gifts, or do we prioritize some gifts over others? The reason I say this is because Jesus said after he had done the miracle and everybody had eaten their fill, to not waste a thing and gather up everything. And a challenge in particular to leaders would be, once somebody has given their gifts over to the Lord and the Lord has blessed them, and they start to grow in their gifting, do we recognize the new giftings that they have, or do we let them fall by the wayside? Are we being good leaders in that way? Are we recognizing the gifts that other people may have and encouraging them to use them and to grow in them, and perhaps even surpass us in their use of those gifts as well? So an encouragement to leaders, but then also to us as well, to believe that we have been given gifts and to use them, to keep on using them. The last thing to say about all of this is that Jesus gives thanks. Jesus gives thanks to the Father for the 5 barley loaves and the 2 fish. And then he goes off and he goes and prays again. after he has done the miracle, before the people can take him by force. So the Father is at the forefront here. And just because we have gifts and that we may grow in them, we shouldn't become proud or self-conceited with those gifts. I just want to give a short little anecdote from my own personal life. And as some of you may know, I'm a big football fan. I love to play it and I like to watch it, no matter how controversial that might be for some people. I just wanted to share a little story, that I have. I play football with I have played football with a bunch of guys who aren't Christians at all, really. The odd time I have said, Lord, actually use me in this. I don't and haven't done it enough. But it is quite funny that such a mundane, normal gift of me being able to play football actually brings me into kind of community with these guys in a very small sense. They don't see a lot of brotherhood. This is their only source of brotherhood. And that actually gives me an opportunity to talk about my faith, because they see me as a friend. Just because of the gift of football, we have been able to talk about some controversial things that we would obviously differ on based on the beliefs that we have. And that's, the Lord has used a small gift that I have to be able to talk to them about the Lord, about Christianity, about different things of the world, and to build friendships with these guys, and to maybe show them truth. So there you go. The gifts that you have aren't wasted. Use them for the good of the Lord, and he will multiply them if you give them to him. It's good to see you, and God bless you guys.
Ba 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 da ba.